Yaman was about to answer him, but he signaled for silence as the drums beat louder and louder. The crowd fell silent. The music stopped. Then, a huge man climbed up onto a raised platform, a long sword in his hand. Khaled instantly realized what was about to happen. An execution. The boy had been telling the truth. 2 strong men followed, dragging a shaven-headed young man whose face, despite his youth, bore the marks of illness. A heavy silence blanketed the square. The drums rolled once more, and the entire crowd dropped to their knees. Everyone except Khaled. Yaman pulled him sharply down beside him and Ayad until he too knelt on the ground. On the platform, the poor man fell to his knees as well, his hands bound behind his back. After a tense moment, the executioner prodded the man's back with his blade. He threw his head back, and with one swift motion, the sword sliced through his neck. Blood splattered across the platform. The townspeople erupted in cheers of delight. The music struck up again, and they began to dance and revel as acrobats returned to perform. Khaled, however, trembled at the sight. A violent shudder rippled through him. His heart pounded. His breath came fast. He stared at the headless body in disbelief, his hands running over his own face as if to check he wasn't dreaming. Why did they slaughter the poor man? He whispered to himself. In our world, we help the poor. These people, they have no hearts. He turned sharply to Yaman and shouted, "Yaman, what year is this?" Yaman replied calmly, "We're at the end of the 9th year after 2000. Khaled gasped, 2009? How can that be?" Yaman smiled faintly, trying to soothe his anger. "It's time, my friend. Can we change it?" Khaled snapped at Ayad. "What's so strange about me wanting to leave Zykola?" Ayad answered, "My friend, the gate of Zykola closed at dawn today. It opens only once, the day before Zykola Day, and then it shuts again until the same day the following year. No one can leave until then." Yaman added, "It's the very day you entered Zykola." Then, curious, he asked, "Why do you want to leave when you're not poor?" Khaled exploded. "Who told you I'm not poor? I am poor. I own nothing." Ayad's eyes widened. "How can that be? Don't you feel it yourself?" Khaled's voice rose. "Feel what? Even the money I had, thank God I had it. You call it worthless paper." Yaman smiled gently. "And why do you need it, my friend?" Khaled retorted, "It's money. I can buy what I need with it." Yaman asked, "You mean currency?" "Yes," Khaled snapped. Yaman fell silent for a moment, then spoke again. "Now I understand why you panicked so much at the sight of that poor man's execution. You're afraid of becoming poor yourself, afraid the same fate awaits you." He looked at Khaled steadily. "Our currency is different, my friend. In Zykola, our wealth is intelligence. The smart are rich, the poor are those with less intelligence. We work and are paid in intelligence. We buy and sell with intelligence. We eat in exchange for other units of intelligence." He paused, then continued, "I don't know where you came from, but we were born to find ourselves this way. We must guard our intelligence, and since the day you entered Zykola, you've become one of us. You must preserve your intelligence, nurture it, or else when Zykola Day arrives and your intelligence has waned, you will meet the same fate as that man." He gestured toward the corpse. Khaled stared at him, bewildered. "Yaman, I thought you were sane." "I know you think we're fools," Yaman said calmly, "but we're the people of Zykola. We are unlike any other place on earth, and the whole world knows it. They fear entering our land, lest the tremor of Zykola pass through their bodies and make them as we are." Khaled remembered that very tremor, the piercing pain in his head when he crossed the gate. Yaman went on, "You must believe us and protect your intelligence. Thinking we're fools will not help you. You cannot leave Zykola no matter what you do. And when Zykola Day comes, If you are the least intelligent, you will face the same fate. He continued, "You'll be here for a year. You'll need food, drink, clothing, and shelter. In Zykola, nothing is free, except on Zykola Day itself. On that day, there is no work, and a few things may be given without price, but very few. You must work, earn your wage in intelligence, and restore what you lose to meet your needs. Here in Zykola, your wealth is your mind." A look of shock spread across Khaled's face. A creeping anxiety stirred inside him. He could feel his intelligence slipping since entering the city, his ability to think weakening, though he didn't know why. What Yaman was saying was impossible, until he remembered something. He turned to Yaman. "That's not true. I ate, I drank, I bought clothes, all without paying anything." Yaman smiled. "My friend, did you notice the prices marked in units at those places?" Khaled remembered those units he had once wondered about. "Yes." Yaman continued. "Intelligence units are not paid by hand. They transfer automatically between us. As long as you've seen those prices and stayed in those places, it means you agreed to buy. What you ate or purchased, its cost left you and went to the owner without your will. Strangers call it the Curse of Zykola." Khaled interrupted, dazed. "But I ate so much. And this outfit, it had the largest number of units written on it. The seller told me it was his finest clothing, and he thanked me, saying I was rich." Yaman replied, "Exactly, my friend. I noticed today you look a little different from the first time I saw you." Then he turned to Ayad. "It seems our friend has lost quite a portion of his fortune." Khaled asked eagerly, "But how did you know?" Yaman smiled. "Your face has grown a little pale, my friend." Then he added, "The less intelligence you have, the paler you become, and illness begins to show. That's how we know who is rich and who is poor. When you gain wealth, you appear healthy, even younger. But when you lose, sickness seeps into your body, until the day of Zykola arrives. Then the soldiers gather the sickest in the city and present them to Dr. Asil. She decides who is truly ill and who suffers from poverty. Then she selects the 3 poorest." Khaled cut him off. "No, this is a land of madmen." He left them and ran, his heart pounding with fear, terrified that what they said might actually be true. He pushed through the crowded celebration while the townspeople danced and laughed, the music reaching its peak. Struggling to move, bumping into boys and girls without apology, all he thought about was reaching the gate of Zykola. He ran, sweat pouring down his forehead, until at last he reached the gate. But it was already closed, guarded by many soldiers. Khaled rushed to one of them, a giant of a man. "I want to leave," he said. The guard laughed mockingly. "Leave?" Khaled shouted, "Yes, let me out!" The guard laughed again and turned to another guard. "We skipped the festival to stand here, only for drunkards to come and play games with us." Khaled cried out, "I'm not drunk! I want to leave!" He shoved the guard with his hand. The guard's face hardened with rage. He struck Khaled with a heavy punch, sending him stumbling backward, collapsing to the ground. Blood trickled from his left brow. Khaled stood again and faced him, but then his eyes caught the polished armor that gleamed like a mirror. He stared into the reflection, his own face pale and sickly. His eyes widened in horror, his breath quickened, and his heart thudded violently. The guard's rough voice broke his panic. "Go back where you came from, or prison will be your fate." Defeated, Khaled touched his bleeding brow, realizing what Ayad had told him was true, and that Yaman's words were the dreadful reality he had feared. He wandered the streets aimlessly, consumed by a single question. How could he survive an entire year in this cursed land? A whole year, he muttered to himself. He hadn't even managed to last a single day. His mind raced. What if, by the end of the year, I am the poorest in the city? What if I am the most foolish? His voice rose as he argued with himself. And my grandfather? Can he live a whole year without me? I thought 2, maybe 3 days, and I'd be back. A year? How can I survive here? Lost in thought, he was suddenly jolted when a horse struck him. It was pulling an elegant carriage, Asil's carriage. The driver shouted at him angrily as the carriage halted. Asil immediately stepped out to check on him, but Khaled, dazed and broken, walked away without looking back, ignoring her calls. She returned to her carriage, murmuring to herself, "If it had been anyone else, he would have demanded compensation." Then she ordered the driver to move on.